So in the last episode of TWID, I mentioned that Powell's releasing a new batch of these experimental pasters soon. I've been meaning to review these wheels. I bought these in the drop earlier this year. I think it was in the springtime. I've skated them a decent amount, just hadn't got around to doing the review. But I thought it'd be good timing to put together a review just before they release another batch. So if anyone's looking at buying them, maybe you can get some information about what the wheels are actually like. I got out and skated them yesterday for about an hour or so, filmed some clips, so I actually have them sort of fresh in my memory of how the wheels actually perform. So yeah, let's get into the review. So I guess we'll start off with the specs and everything like that. I guess there was an older version of these wheels, so they're now updated and slightly different. Powell's description says that the beta pasters are back, and now with a new, slightly more durable and smoother sliding formula in 78A, while still pasting like no other. When you want to lay down fat lines with admirable traction and control, this is the Powell Peralta wheel for you. The 69mm shape is the same as Snake's. That line made me buy the wheels, but the spoiler alert is they don't really thane. They don't drop fat lines, they're not dumpers. But that's how Powell describes them. So yeah, they're basically the same shape, exact same shape, same core as Snake's that everyone sort of knows by now what kind of a Snake is like. Same shape, style, everything like that, but the urethane is completely different. So this is much grippier, much less durable urethane, entirely separate to Snake's, entirely separate to like the other Kevin Reimer wheels and all of that stuff. So it's a same shape, freeride shape of a Snake, but in a much grippier thing. The road I was skating yesterday is, none of the roads I have around here are overly thaney, but that's probably the most thaney road that I have, most thaney pavement that I have. And these were leaving like really faint kind of lines. I could see where I was sliding, but they weren't dumping, they weren't leaving thick lines at all. So I'm sure in some pavements these would thane more, but as far as like calling them fat lines or dumpers or anything, pasters is in the name, they're just not even on that level at all. They're not a thaney wheel. I think compared to all the other Powell Peralta wheels as well, they completely sit on their own because they are just such a grippier slide. Obviously Snakes are a very slidey wheel. They've come out with the newer colors which are slightly grippier. Kevin Reimers are actually a decently slidey wheel. The red ones have got a bit of grip to them, and they just have the square lip shape. But that thane is still very slidey. This is something very different. This is a lot grippier. This urethane is gonna slow you down. So like when you hold out the bigger slides, they kind of slide nicely for a while and then they really start to put on the brakes and slow you down and they want you to hook up. With that being said though, they're not like crazy in the pavement feeling and not crazy grippy like a square lip shape because they still have that same shape as the Snakes, and because Powell still has pretty high quality urethane, they're very, very smooth. So they do slide easily and they slide smoothly, and the release and hookup is very smooth and really nice actually. They're just like a noticeably grippier slide than the other Powell wheels. On a scale of like all longboard wheels, they're probably somewhere in the middle. They're not crazy grippy, they're just not slidey like a Snake, or grippy like a downhill wheel. They're about in the middle, where a lot of other freeride wheels sort of sit. But they just have a really smooth feeling, which is really enjoyable. I guess the thing that's kind of like, it's almost making it a little tricky for me to review is that these aren't really similar to wheels that I normally ride. It's kind of easy to review something that's like super thaney and just really fun, or like something that's really high performance and gonna make you like, it's gonna make skating easier. Not make you better at skating, but make skating easier. These are kind of like in the weird middle gray zone. It's like a genre of wheel that I typically don't ride, where it's like on the grippier end, but it doesn't thane, and it's like, I don't know, just like a strange middle ground. I feel like without really having skated them a lot, this is similar to a lot of the orangutan freeride wheels, like the 4Pres and the Keanus and the Kilmers and that style of wheel. This is what reminds me of those. I haven't ridden those wheels a lot. I've tried friends and things like that and seen people skate them, but it's a wheel that it's not really going to last you a long time, but it's not going to die in one session. And it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of a middle ground area, I guess, if that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, so durability as well. I've ridden these probably several times. The first time I skated them was like a whole big skate day, like driving runs and stuff like that. And then most other sessions have been like local freeride type hiking spots. And they have held up decently as far as wheels are concerned compared to other Powell wheels. They're wearing really quickly. But as far as just like, we're just looking at wheels in general, they have a pretty good durability. I skated them yesterday and I had them like rotated before I started, and at the end of my session, which was about an hour long, I probably was like getting towards needing to rotate again. So that's like a decent amount of time before needing to rotate for a grippier freeride wheel. Because they're the same cores as snakes, and it's obviously Powell has like quite high quality urethane, the roll speed is really good, just like you'd expect from any Powell wheels. Like I don't know if they're necessarily the same speed as snakes. Being a little softer, they might be a little bit slower, but the roll speed is great. It's what you want, what you'd expect from them, which makes fast freeriding really enjoyable. And then having a little bit more grip compared to the other wheels, it means you can take kind of faster lines. They're not going to release as easily as other like snakes and stuff would. So you can trust these wheels a lot with the edge grip on them because it's the same shape but just a grippier thing, which is nice. If you're someone that likes to do a lot of like the sort of techie freestyle type tricks on snakes, these probably aren't going to work for that. They still have the smooth release and slide, but the extra grip on them just makes them like that much more difficult to slide. I guess that kind of sums up like my experience and kind of how the wheel is objectively. I would say sort of like recommendations for who might enjoy this wheel. If you're someone that finds snakes too slippery, this is a good option for you. If you are someone on a bit of a budget, you're not wanting to just keep buying dumper wheels, these are good too because they're going to last a lot longer than wheels that do actually drop big thing lines. Yeah, and I mean, I've done a decent amount of skating and it's still like a pretty big sized wheel. So if you're sort of one of those people on a bit more of a budget, but you find the snakes too slidey, this is going to be a good middle ground for that. If you ride like long hills, you do drive runs, a lot of that kind of stuff, you'll probably like these wheels because they have decent durability, and you don't have to rotate them too often while still having that grip and control for longer runs, compared to other freeride wheels that might wear out a bit faster and might not have as fast of a roll speed. I'm not sure if I would really recommend these to like beginners. They slide easily enough for that. It's not really the problem. It's like the durability aspect is you are more likely to flat spot or oval these wheels compared to snakes because they wear just so much faster and wear so differently that there is a higher chance of damaging the wheel from, you know, just wear and tear and that kind of thing. So if you're a brand new beginner, these might not be the best wheels for you. However, if you just like them and you want to try them, they slide easily, so they'd be fine to learn on. They're just not going to be as forgiving as other wheels. Addressing like them being called pacers and saying it dumps thing lines, I'm pretty sure they were an older version of these with a different urethane that did actually drop thick, fat, dumpy thing lines, and they've updated, like it says, they've updated the formula. And so this newer formula is just probably more durable, longer lasting, and with doing that you kind of give up on the big fat thing lines, which makes sense. So if you're looking for mids dumpers that you just want to poop a lot of thing, that's not these wheels. But if you're looking for a solid, good freeride wheel that's got a bit more grip and control to it than a snake does, this is actually a really good option. I typically, like, when I skate, if I'm going slow and skating a neighborhood spot, I just really like wheels that just poop thing, they just feel gushy and fun. And if I'm going fast, I'm gonna put on some more serious wheels like the Kevin Reimers or like actual downhill wheels. And so I don't typically ride like durable freeride wheels. It's just not a category of wheel that I really enjoy skating and don't normally pick them. But if that's kind of your thing, like I said, the orangutan wheels, these really remind me of the orangutan freeride wheels. then this is probably a really good option for you, and you'll probably really enjoy them. But yeah, that's my review of the Powell Peralta experimental paces. I guess you'd say like the latest version of them, the most recent version. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're alright. I would give these like a solid, like, middle of the road 6 out of 10. Like, I've been enjoying them. I'm gonna keep riding them. I'm probably gonna call them, but it's still like, it's not the wheel that I would choose to ride, and it's kind of in that middle ground area that's like, it doesn't thing, and you don't really want to go super fast on it, but it's still a good wheel. So yeah, just a good yeah, pretty good.